Hi, my name is Anvit Beko. My category is 3D modeling. My grade is 11th grade, and my project is on Hyperloops. So, what are Hyperloops? Hyperloops are basically trains that use magnetic levitation to hover on a track so that it can glide and also reduce friction. And what this allows to do is, with enough thrust, the Hyperloop can go really quickly from one place to another. And this is great for transporting passengers to different places wherever they need to go. The software that I'm using is called Autodesk Fusion 360, which is a 3D modeling software that allows its users to design an object, to simulate it, manufacture it, render it, and more. Autodesk Fusion 360 allows its users to use its professional 3D modeling tools to create any cut they want or any shape they want and all that. And this is a great software when I was trying to create my Hyperloop. So my model is the MG Hyperloop, and as you can see, here's the model I created, and here's the actual track. So the track is basically a tunnel where the MG Hyperloop can glide inside. And not only can this Hyperloop transport passengers, but it can also be used to take goods from one location to another really quickly. So here's the MG Hyperloop that I've created. And as you can see, so I've added several textures to the model. I've also added textures to the actual track. So I've added different textures like glass and metal, and I've given them a color. And the way I did create this model was using the sketches. So sketches are basically creating a 2D object or 2D image and then extruding it to create a 3D model. So let's say I just wanted to add something here. I create this surface. I press create sketch, and what it allows me to do is it creates a plane of this surface here. Now I can add whatever I want. So like I want to create a circle here, and it creates the circle. Now I just press select, then this if I want, and then press E on my keyboard, and then I can pull this, or I can give an actual measurement of what the height of the 3D model should be. I can use this to either join or add on to a model, or maybe cut it. And I can also make it its own separate body or component, and all that. One of the unique aspects of this object was the windshield. So the windshield was very difficult to create because it's supposed to be a curved surface inside this model, and it was very difficult because I used several methods and none of those methods worked. And this was very difficult. And I ended up creating a cone inside. So let me show an example. So I was able to create the cone by basically creating the 2D sketch, pressing circle, and then I created this circle here. Then what I did was I created an offset plane by pressing offset plane using this surface. And what the offset plane does is it allows me to create my own plane at whatever distance from the main 2D object should be, so, or the surface should be. So I'm adding this distance. Then what I do is I press this offset plane, create a point there. So go to point, press here on the center of the circle, kind of. And so it creates a point here. And so then what I do is to create the cylinder, what I do is I press on this 2D image. Then I press shift on the keyboard and then press the point here, and it creates the cone. So I added the whole glass texture and all. And next thing what I did was I made a hole inside this cone to create the windshield. So what I did was I created a sketch on this surface, Then I made an arc. I didn't want a perfect circle there, but I wanted an arc. So I create like this, another one. So this isn't perfect, but this is just to show how I did it. Then what I did was I pressed finish sketch. Then I wanted to extrude it so that it creates the hole till here. So what I did was I did the offset plane again, and I slowly take it to there. And then what I did was I basically create the sketch, basically similar to what I did before. I create the sketch. Um, then I put the point here, and basically I did this. Press E, or I guess I should press sketch, finish sketch. And then I went here to create, press lock again. And then I press shift and I press this. And it creates that hole, I guess, on the inside the cone. And yeah, and basically I did the same thing. Then I moved this whole, image, by pressing move and copy. And then I moved it inside here. So that's what I did. And it was tough. It might not be perfect, but it still shows the actual windshield and how it may look. As you can see right now, there are 3 timelines animations I've made. So let me show this first animation. This animation was just fairly simple because I just had to take the object and then just move it across move it in a straight line in the tunnel. The tricky part was the camera angle. And as you can see right now, the camera is not going like side by side with the Hyperloop, because what happened was when I was recording and also animating the camera, I had to constantly keep scrolling and then animating the camera and then animating, and that took a lot of time. And that was one of the concerns in this animation. The same was also true for the other animations as well. The second animation I want to show is basically just the actual model, the first Hyperloop taking a turn to the left. This one was more tricky because not only had I needed to animate the camera, but I also had to make the object like turn. And so this is one of the things that I learned about this animation process. It's that whenever the whole entire object moves, the rotation, like I had to learn how the rotation also worked. Right now, the rotation, what I had to do was I had to combine the rotation, but I also had to combine the moving straight feature. So let me just show an example. So let's say I wanted to keep making it move here. Just do that. So let's say I just wanted to make it keep turning left. I take this object, this Hyperloop, press the transform. Then here I set how long I want the rotation to last. And the rotation depends and the timeline, the duration of the rotation should be small because it needs to constantly turn at different amounts. So right now here, if I needed to go, so I need to combine the rotation but also the straight movement. So right now, let me just take it, move it straight. For right now, it's just moving straight completely. And so as you can see, this straight movement popped up in this animation timeline. But let's say I just wanted to also incorporate the rotation as well. So let's just do this. and do that. And what this should allow is it should also combine with the straight movement. So let's just see what happens. So right now the Hyperloop comes in, and yeah, and as you can see, it actually it combined the straight movement and the turning function. And that's something that I never knew um, before I tried it out. Um, and and this is a good knowledge to know. So yeah, the feature of being able to rotate and turn was really helpful for me to know. So because then in the future, whenever I'm animating, I can just rotate and then also combine the front moving movement to make an actual turn of the object. So here are my reflections. So there were some issues regarding the whole Hyperloop, and for example, inside in the interior, there were cuts that looked more odd. So when I was like cutting the object in the interior, it just made there were some parts of the interior that just looked out of place. I wish I could have made a better interior. Maybe like see another thing I would like to mention is the placement of more tracks and turns. Because currently there's only one track, and if I could have added more tracks and turns and also more Hyperloop pods and then animate them, that would be a great thing to show to other people, and to also look how Hyperloops could be used. Thank you for watching this video.